Traveling has become a huge part of our lives, whether it's for business trips or leisure. But even the most experienced travelers can overlook ways they can possibly save money and financially protect themselves whilst traveling to various destinations. If you want to be financially smarter while traveling, this video is exactly for you. Here's our top 10 financial tips for travelers. Number 1. Know your currency conversion fees. Historically, currency conversion was a huge struggle for travelers. Bank cards, credit cards, and digital wallets only became popular in the past decades. Previously, travelers had to carry cash on themselves whilst traveling. This created a few inconveniences, starting with trips to the bank for currency conversion, ending with excess amount of foreign currency at the end of the trip. With the increased popularity of bank cards and digital wallets, the before-mentioned inconveniences are now avoidable. Whilst you can now use bank cards and digital wallets anywhere in the world, this opens the opportunity for some financial institutions or merchants to gain advantage and financially benefit from your spending. Most card issuers charge an extra fee on currency conversion, which is an additional fee on top of the conversion rate. Therefore, before traveling, you should inquire about any additional conversion fees that your bank may charge you and choose the one which has the lowest. Otherwise, in some instances, your trip may end up costing you 3 to 5% more due to conversion fees. Number 2. Dynamic currency conversion. Another way most merchants earn on currency conversion is through DCC, which is short for Dynamic Currency Conversion. This service allows you to pay or take out cash using your home currency. They simply offer you to convert currency on their rate and save on your bank's markups. Whilst it may be inconvenient for you to calculate which rate, your home currency rate or the foreign currency rate would be cheaper, our practice shows that accepting the offer to convert to your home currency might add a merchant fee of approximately 3 to 8%. However, the percentage could even be higher. Therefore, based on our experience, it is better to follow one simple rule. If you are offered to pay in several currencies on merchant locations or an ATM, always choose local currency in which you're currently doing the transaction. By doing so, only your local bank currency conversion fees will be applied. Overall, merchants are charging more than your bank. This tip can also be applied while online shopping. Number 3. Use credit cards with care. We can all agree that the idea of credit cards sounds great. The credit card issuers tend to promote the usage of credit cards, which give you various benefits such as cashback, rewards points, and much more. However, none of this is without a catch. Credit cards tend to produce a higher profit for the issuers since they earn money not only from the transactions that you make, but also from the interest rate of a used credit limit. Bear in mind that the interest rate might be as high as 20%, and if you add in the previously discussed currency fees, this might totally blow your budget. Whilst it may be tempting to use credit card to pay for a trip, such expenses are not worth paying an additional 20% on interest rate, unless you have previously saved up on credit card points offered by credit card issuers such as American Express or Chase. Using points to pay for a trip, whether it be for an accommodation or flights, might actually end up being cheaper than paying it using your debit card. Additionally, we still recommend having a credit card on you whilst traveling. In certain situations and certain locations, debit cards are not accepted, thus having a credit card may come in handy. For example, you need a valid credit card in order to place a security deposit on a car rental or making certain purchases on an airplane. Lastly, having a valid credit card whilst traveling may come in handy in emergency situations. You can never predict what type of emergency expense might surprise you on your trip. Therefore, keep the expensive credit card limit exactly for that. Number 4. The Third Street Rule. All the travelers seeking quality while still being on a budget, listen up. If after a day of strolling through the Colosseum, sightseeing Acropolis, or taking beautiful pictures on top of the Eiffel Tower, you begin to feel hungry, tired, or just in a need of a good cup of coffee, do not settle for the first restaurant or cafe right in the midst of the busiest tourist areas. Normally, such restaurants get the biggest flow of tourists. Therefore, it is no surprise that those type of places tend to have the highest prices, yet the food quality may not be the best. To avoid this type of tourist trap, we use the rule of the third street. This means that you should look for a restaurant 3 streets away from the tourist attraction that you were just visiting. The further away you get from such sites, the lower the restaurant prices will get. Additionally, you may even discover some local gems offering great quality for great prices. In case you want to be prepared or find restaurants to book your reservations in advance, you may consult various websites such as TripAdvisor or Yelp to help you discover some amazing local spots. If you like our videos, please consider subscribing to our channel not to miss any of our new videos. Number 5. Using internet. Having access to a good internet connection whilst traveling is vital. Of course, you will most likely find Wi-Fi at various cafes, restaurants, and your hotel. However, you may discover that some countries do not have easily accessible Wi-Fi connections. What do you do then? In order to have the most cost-effective way of having access to internet abroad, our recommendation is to buy a small portable Wi-Fi router with a SIM card slot before your trip. This way, you can always buy a local SIM card at the airport and fuel all of your devices with the internet just from your pocket or backpack. Additionally, this provides you an extra layer of security as you never know how safe public Wi-Fi is. Number 6. Payment options and restrictions. Whilst cash may not be the most popular form of payment in many countries, it is vital to check whether your destination accepts all forms of bank payment or if they mostly conduct transactions using cash. For example, foreign bank cards and credit cards are not used in countries like Iran, Crimea, and North Korea. However, even if you do not see any global restrictions on specific cards, it is still important to check your card acceptance network coverage at your destination. For example, China generally accepts Visa or MasterCard, but going outside of the bigger cities, you will find many places where your card may no longer be accepted. Union Pay cards or other payment methods are more popular there. Therefore, in addition to having a bank card and a credit card, we would recommend having at least some cash in most popular currencies. Last but not least, before leaving your home country, you should inform your bank that you are planning to use your card abroad. Due to money security reasons, occasionally banks restrict foreign or specific country transactions. Informing your bank of your travels may be as easy as clicking a few buttons on your banking app, giving them a call, or sending them an email. Number 7. Car rental. Another traveling attribute is renting a car while you are abroad. This is a very convenient service, and in some countries, you can see much more whilst taking a road trip. You might be already aware that car rentals are trying to maximize their profits in various ways. However, one way that the rental companies try to trick car renters is through fuel refill, which is worth mentioning on this list. Some car rental companies rent out cars with a full tank without asking the renters to refill the tank upon the return of the vehicle. Whilst this may sound like a convenient and cost-efficient bonus, as a car renter you still end up paying for the refill, which is actually done by the rental company itself at the end of your trip when you return the car. Although it may sound convenient, since you do not have to worry about finding a gas station, the car rental company ends up charging you much more for the fuel than what you would end up paying at a regular gas station. Therefore, we would recommend to opt out of the service and instead take a trip to the nearest gas station upon your return and refill the tank yourself. Number 8. The two-pocket rule. Whilst traveling abroad, you have to understand that often you could be perceived as a tourist in the eyes of the local people. Therefore, you must be careful of any pocket pickers or thieves who specifically target tourists and their money, documents, or even credit card credentials. In order to protect yourself against such incidents, we would recommend to always carry a few different bank cards and to split your cash into different safe locations. Additionally, try to avoid handing over your bank card to unknown personnel, such as waiters or even taxi drivers, since occasionally they can steal your card information without you looking. However, if such situations are unavoidable, we recommend blocking your card immediately and informing your bank to reissue your new card right after your trip. Number 9. Use bank cards. We often use different forms of payment every day, whether we use cash or bank cards. However, not many of us are aware that by using bank cards, you are automatically covered by Customer Protection Program, which protects you against various fraudulent transactions. Therefore, if you come across an unfamiliar transaction, or if you made the transaction yourself but you did not receive the services or the goods in return, you can contact your bank's fraud department to issue you a refund. The Customer Protection Program is especially useful whilst traveling abroad, due to the fact that flights and accommodations are often booked far in advance. You are exposed to any possible last-minute delays or cancellations by the airline company or even the hotel. In such case, you can be eligible for a refund from your bank under the Customer Protection Program. However, you should contact your bank beforehand in order to be aware of any specific exemptions or regulations. Therefore, when traveling, we recommend using your bank card instead of cash or wire transfer whenever you can. This way, you and your money stays protected in case of any fraudulent incidents. Number 10. Have a safety buffer. Last but not least, it is always important to have a safety buffer whilst traveling. As mentioned previously, your credit card can be a great option for any emergencies or unplanned expenses. Another great safety buffer is travel insurance, which you can purchase complimentary to your trip. However, besides having a credit card and travel insurance, we would also recommend having a financial safety buffer equivalent to around 50% of the total cost of your trip. This way, in case of an emergency, you are able to cover your tickets back home or any unforeseen hotel expenses without waiting for the insurance company or the bank to return your money. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see more of our videos. Also, please drop a comment below about your top financial tips whilst traveling.